So the shiny new toy everyone is talking about is the How to Train Your Dragon remake.
I like shiny things. I think the How to Train Your Dragon remake accomplished exactly what it was trying to accomplish, and the only people on this planet that would have a problem with it are assholes like me who really, really, really like the first one.
It's coming out in this time where there's so many remakes and sequels, and we just live in this world where there's nothing original. Like,
people can get super critical after fatigue from the same thing.
And I think when you think about remakes, you automatically assume that they're not going to be great. I think this movie really flips that on its head. This movie really surprised me.
I was pleasantly surprised as well. I wasn't like really surprised, blown away, but I enjoyed it.
I mean, I think that's fair though, because as you said, you really did love the original.
Full disclosure, my views and opinions on this are not representing the masses, I don't think.
I liked the original. That's not a movie that I'm always going back to and I'm always rewatching. Like, I think I've only seen it once. Going into this movie, I was kind of just like, When I was watching the movie, I was like, I think this movie did a lot of things really well. And I think it did some things bad.
Yes.
We're going to get into it.
Yeah.
But let's start off with like everything the movie did right.
Okay.
The first thing that will come to people's mind when they think about the original How to Train Your Dragon is Jay Baruchel's performance of Hiccup.
Yes.
Okay there, bud. We're going to take this nice and slow. Here we go. Here we go. Position 4.
He is, I think, what is in 40s now? 45, something like.
He's old.
But I think you could have shaved him down. You could have thrown him in there somewhere, but I also think it's a case of Jay Baruchel like hating acting. The classic Jay Baruchel move.
Yeah. You do seem to hate a lot of things, and the bottom of your pants are awful tight.
No, I don't like Los Angeles. It doesn't make me a hipster.
I bet you hate movies that are universally loved.
I don't even...
You like Forrest Gump?
No, it's a horrendous piece of shit.
You want to be in this like super successful thing? No. No. His performance in the first How to Train Your Dragon was honestly like what really reeled me into it. His performance as Hiccup, for some reason, just worked so perfectly.
Yeah.
And everybody that was cast in the first movie was cast completely perfectly as well. When I found out that Gerard Butler was playing Stoic, I was like over the moon. And he did not disappoint.
Going back to Hiccup, I think Mason Thames, who did play Hiccup and is the kind of replacement for Jay Baruchel, did a really good job.
I've decided I don't want to fight dragons. What?
No, you go first.
No, you go first.
You get your wish. Dragon training. Start in the morning.
Oh man, I really should have gone first. Because
he didn't exactly try to mimic Jay Baruchel's. He did it like just enough, but he also kind of made it his own and not like a crazy over-the-top asshole way.
The character of Hiccup, we have to remember, has his own essence as a character, right? As much as that was kind of created by Jay Baruchel's performance in the original movie.
Yeah.
Hiccup is still this kind of lost character, timid, sort of anxious, trying to find his way in this world, trying to fit like a square peg into a round hole almost, right? He wants to kill dragons because that's what everyone does, but he's not very good at it because, as we learn, that's not really his place in life. So Hiccup, as a character, kind of has an essence about him, and I think Mason Thames does a really good job of capturing that essence that Jay Baruchel amplified and kind of turning it into his own role almost of this sort of like toned down, not as cartoony, which makes sense because this is a live action remake.
Yes.
Turning this cartoon Hiccup into this more grounded, still kind of like nerdy high school kid vibe though, right?
Yes, they did a lot of cool things in the movie where like a lot of shots like of Hiccup in the new remake that were like exactly like the original. And a lot of them were Mason Thames mannerisms. The holding the axe like this, and he really was good in that sense too. But I also think that a lot of Jay Baruchel's character essence was just like his timing. He really was able to like capture that whimsicalness, I guess you could say, with his comedic timing and stuff. And this guy didn't exactly do that. He did his own thing, which was kind of like you said, more grounded, which was very interesting that I didn't hate at all. By any means.
Good job on the recast. When you think about remakes and you recast iconic characters like Hiccup, who is the main character of a trilogy and very successful franchise, you can get like a lot of heat and you can make some mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely don't think Mason Thames' performance as Hiccup is one of them. I think it's one of the strongest points of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think about live action remakes, we think about how do you remake this like animated movie? And we've seen it done in the past with like Disney doing it with like Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King. And you kind of like, what they've done is they've taken these like cartoon environments and they've just like recreated them with like a lot of CG. And I think this movie didn't do that. They used the real world in the real live action remake. When you think about the Lion King remake and the Beauty and the Beast, they recreate these real world landscapes in CG, and it kind of just like makes it all feel like sort of hollow. And How to Train Your Dragon, the remake, was shot one of the Faroe Islands, and they actually built the town of Berk.
That's so cool.
It gives it like a gritty sort of dark fantasy vibe in a way, like almost sort of like a Harry Potter Lord of the Rings vibe.
It did give that kind of vibe at times, to be honest. Like the whole like mountainy, open airy kind of, you know.
The cinematography really like showed the environment they were filming in too. It didn't try and hide it behind these huge CG landscapes. In the dragon flying sequences, I'll give you, of course, there are a couple of like gratuitous like landscapes because you got to, but it's like still all interwoven into these like real world landscape. When we talk about live action remakes, they don't really take place in the live world a lot of the time.
No, you were saying it's funny when you say like it's a live action remake and all it really is just like real people, but like everything else, like the backgrounds are all CG, like the fucking sky, like everything is all CG and stuff. So yeah, this was really, really cool they really did like go all out. There was like a lot of like explosions, a lot of fire, a lot of like different contraptions. It looked like I'm still on the first scene, but everything just like was like really well placed, and it seemed like very, very thought out.
Like I said, they leveraged the real world to their advantage and didn't try and hide the fact that they were filming in the real world, right?
Exactly.
So the relationship between Hiccup and Stoic. I remember in the first movie, the whole overbearing father and misplaced son, if you will, was a role. It was a big theme in the movie.
Yeah.
It drives Hiccup to like train the dragon and find his place in the world. But in this movie, I thought they took a lot more time working on that relationship, which maybe slowed the movie down for some, but for me, it kind of like upped the stakes a little bit because I really felt the emotion between Stoic and Hiccup. The scene where Hiccup realizes that he can't kill dragons, and he's trying to tell his father Stoic that he can't kill dragons, and that's when Stoic decides to give him the opportunity to kill dragons. It like really kind of epitomizes this whole dynamic of this overbearing parent who has the best intentions of their child at heart, but just is the worst listener in the world.
Absolutely.
You know, because I was thinking, we have a surplus of dragon fighting Vikings, but do we have enough bread making Vikings?
You need this?
Dad, I don't want to fight dragons.
Come on. Yes, you do.
No, let me rephrase it. I can't kill dragons.
But you will.
No, I'm very extra sure that I won't.
It's time, Hiccup.
Don't get me wrong, you can convey a lot of emotion when it comes to like Disney Pixar. I know it's not Disney, but like Pixar films and just like these like animated movies and stuff. But like when you have like a real life Gerard Butler and a real life Mason Thames like in a scene together, like it really does hit harder, and you can like feel it, because I guess that is like something I will admit that like this movie does have going for it. The original is it's a cartoon in a sense, right? It's supposed to be real, but like even that scene, we're like, now we have something finally to talk about.
You really had me going there, son. All those years of the worst Viking Berk has ever seen. Odin, it was rough. I almost gave up on you. And all the while, you were holding out on me. Oh, Thor almighty! Ah, with you doing so well in the ring, we finally have something to talk about.
And they just sit, and it's just like you're just like, haha, okay, you know. But like in live action one, you're just like it hits differently, you know. It just seems like so much like. I mean, I am also biased because I love Gerard Butler as well.
It's more emotional.
It is more emotional.
It's more grounded. Animated movies are always really good at conveying emotion and heart, and like
Yeah.
this is no exception. Like DreamWorks has like killed it with their animation in the past, but like seeing that scene like played out in live action with like Gerard Butler and Mason Thames gave it like a new dimension, you know. It gave it a lot more depth, and it gave their whole relationship depth, which like upped the stakes of the entire movie. It's like like all of this leads into Hiccup finding his place in the world and training Toothless. And that first flight, things kind of go wrong, and then he pulls it out, and he's got his piece of paper, and he's like trying to look at it as they're falling. And
that's like one of the best scenes in the entire movie, probably.
Yeah,
that was one of the scenes I cried in. I cried 3 times watching this movie.
And like, I don't blame you, man, because it's a beautiful movie with some
like, fuck yeah, man. Like, just believe in yourself, feel the dragon, baby.
Yeah,
and
man.
then just don't gotta fuck you, cheat sheet, and like it just feels But then they didn't put the part where in the original one where like Hiccup like shoots the fireball afterwards, and then he's just like, oh come on, and then and the next scene is just Hiccup like with a face full of like smoke and his hair is all like frizzy. Like, but back to what you're saying, that's shit that I love from the CG one, because the CG one has its own charm like that. The CG one will always make me laugh, but the live action one is real. Like, it is. You're right. It's more real. So kind of making me like changing my mind here. I still like the first one more, but
yeah, like for me, like that first flight sequence, like I know this will probably like you'll disagree on this, but like for me, I liked it so much more than the first flight in the original movie, because it's just because of that emotion and just the way it was shot and how they blended the real world landscapes with some of the computer generated landscapes. And like there's like I think a scene when he like reaches like the apex of his like flight, and like everything kind of like goes wrong, and it's just this
he's at this zero gravity moment where like Toothless is falling and he like unhooks himself.
It was like so beautifully shot. And I think that's another thing too, is like animated movies are great because they're like storyboarded, and you can take so much time to like set up a frame, and I feel like sometimes that'll get lost in a live action remake. But in this one, it's like, dude, like the DOP, cinematographer, director did a great job in taking some of those moments from like the animated movie and recreating them, but then also like shooting everything else in a more grounded and beautiful like way.
One of my favorite scenes in all of film is in this movie, and there's no dialogue in it, and it's when Stoic is looking into the tunnel and it's completely dark, and he like raises his thing for them to send like a fireball in it, and it shoots down, and you just see the whole thing is just infested with so many dragons, but like and then it goes dark again, you don't see anything, and I was always just like that was one of the scenes I was looking forward to so much in this movie, and it was dope. Like, it was wicked. And the dragon, the big dragon, I always thought it was like just a big king dragon, but I guess it was a queen, or like I thought it was just a big ass dragon, to be honest. I didn't think it was like a queen or king, but they did that was epic as hell too.
Yeah.
So all of the cinematography, DOP, all that stuff, like, fantastic job. I agree. So I really, really liked Astrid's like casting and performance in this movie compared to the first movie. There is a part in this movie where obviously it kind of goes a little like Aladdin, like kind of goes a little Aladdin, and then like he kind of went like, it's really hard to not get one over when a dude takes you on a dragon and takes you to the clouds. Like, that's romantic as shit. So after that, she kind of just is kind of like not really swooned by him, but like significantly nicer to like him. And like, I think that change happens a little bit quicker than I would have liked. But other than that, I liked this Astrid more than the original one.
The Astrid in this movie is played by Nico Parker.
And the other one was played by America Ferrera, I believe, or Ugly Betty.
Oh, okay.
Of Ugly Betty fame. Astrid in the first one, the original, I did like a lot, but this one just seemed like she cared more, and this one just seemed like she had more like substance. She seemed like she should have been the one to kill the dragon. Like, let's be real. But like, she just kind of like Nico Williams. You said
Nico Parker.
Nico Williams is a soccer player. Nico Parker, who I believe is English, killed it. and I was very, very fond of that. But you want to talk about what I don't like? That's what everybody wants to hear about, right? What Adam doesn't like? I think Nick Frost as Gobber was cool and good. I think that was a great choice. But I think you kind of said it the best. Like, he phoned it in.
Yeah.
Like, I think he kind of just... Gobber is, like, my favorite... I mean, next to, like, the dragon and, like, Hiccup. But, like, Gobber's probably, like, my favorite character, like, in the entire thing. And because Craig Ferguson is so good. He didn't even change his voice. He's just Craig Ferguson. When I was talking about how Mason Thames didn't, he kind of like honored Jay Baruchel but didn't go too wacky with it. Like Andy Frost, there are times when he does sound like Craig Ferguson, but then he just stops, and I'm just like, why don't you? I've seen you in movies where you have gone and done it and given it. Like, why couldn't you do it this time? But that's done. Andy Frost is gonna watch this, and
it's Nick Frost.
Andy Frost is a radio host in Toronto. Nick Frost is gonna watch this one day and never want to be my friend, and I'm sorry, and I was really looking forward to seeing Nick Frost as Gobber, and I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, Nick Frost was kind of a letdown in this. I'll agree. Like,
yeah.
You can't stop him, Stoic. You can only prepare him. Because the truth is, we aren't always going to be around to protect him.
He doesn't really bring a lot of life to Gobber.
It seems like he was cast and you'd like never seen the movie.
I don't know if it was like lifeless, but it just didn't have like a lot of like flair. Like, you look at Gerard
Butler was over the fucking moon stoked to play Stoic in real life. You know what I mean?
And you can tell.
I saw behind the scenes, like, you know, I guess promo was just like, you don't understand, like, this is the real deal, you know? I'm just like, oh, Leonidas, you know? There's a part in this movie where it's exactly like fucking 300. Like, there's no way they didn't have 300 when he was doing that speech in front of them.
Even after, when he's walking up to the cave, he smashes his shield like they do in 300.
Exactly. I know. It's like, this is where we fight the dragons. This is where they die, the dragons. And my final thing that I will say that I wasn't a huge fan of, because like I said, I cried 3 times during this movie. It was a great movie. I think that Toothless was way too animated. I think they kind of made him seem too much like a dog in this movie. He literally is like, oh my boo 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 you boo. Like, it's a dragon, dude. In the original Toothless, his persona and his characteristics were based, like, a lot, like 90% of it was based on his eyes. When he's captured and he's on Stoic's boat and he's all chained up in the original one, yeah, sure, he looks kind of panicked and stuff, but, like, his eyes are really where you see, like, all the panic and stuff. You can tell everything with his huge eyes. And this one, you can see his mouth, like, start to quiver, and I was just like, yo, you don't have to do that, man. He's a dragon. Like, dragons don't wince or like literally sound like how you would Pixar one of your characters, right? That was one of the main reasons why I love that dragon so much, because obviously the eyes, that's why everybody loves them. But kind of lost me a little bit on that one with Toothless. Other than those things, I don't think there was anything I found crazy bad with it. I was actually like I said, I wasn't over the moon, over the top, crazy, overjoyed, surprised. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I was really happy that one of my favorite, like, animated movies of all time, one of them, like, was done well and not done dirty. When this movie came out, me and my brother Chris saw it the first time thinking it was just going to be a stupid movie called How to Train Your Dragon.
The original How to Train
Your Dragon. And then we saw it, and then we left, and we were just like, holy shit. Literally, like, a few days later, we went and saw it again. And then literally the next weekend, we saw it a third time. We paid all 3 times to watch it in the theaters, to the point where on the third time, we were like, we knew, like, lines from the movie. We were ruining the movie for other people. Like,
oh God.
So, like, this movie was and is very near and dear to my heart. If there was ever a chance of them being able to make a live action remake of this movie and do it as good as they can, this is what it would be. I don't think they could have, without me literally going and taking over production and then grabbing Jay Baruchel by his fucking neck and making him be in the movie. I think they literally did everything that they could to make it sweet, honor the original. I would definitely recommend going to see it. However, I would say go watch the first one first.
I agree. I think you should go and see this movie. Like, as far as movies that have come out this year, there have been a fair amount of movies that have made some money, like Lilo and Stitch, a Minecraft
Lilo and Stitch
movie.
made a lot of money that I heard of, and Minecraft movie I think is still making money. You're right.
Out of all of the successful movies that have come out this year, I would say like this is probably one of the best. This movie is definitely worth seeing in theaters.
See it in theaters, 100%. In theaters, it was fantastic. That's another thing I'm actually really happy about. I saw the original and this one in theaters, and both did not disappoint.
So the remake of How to Train Your Dragon has a Rotten Tomato critic score of 78%. I would say that is a fair score. Audiences love it, 98%. I can definitely see why. It keeps the heart of the original movie while also adding some new flair. They bring a lot of extra heart and depth to this movie, and they really kind of utilize that live action atmosphere and world. It's not like they just made this movie for the sake of remaking it and like making another $500 million off of people who are just going to go see it because they saw the original and they like the original. So I'd say this is like well worth the price of admission at the movie theater. You should definitely go see this movie.
Definitely go see this movie. One hell of a ride. I cried 3 times. I'll tell you exactly the times. It was the flying scene when he Aladdin's
when he takes Astrid on the magic carpet
when
ride.
he Aladdin's Astrid, and obviously in the end when Gerard Butler thinks that Hiccup is passed. But is he passed? Is he not passed? Go see the movie.
Yeah, there you go. Go see the movie and find out for yourself.
There's 2 sequels with Hiccups, so I thought I was gonna kind of be like ruthless and mean, but then the more I was like talking to you, every time I talk to this guy's like therapy. I was like, you know what?
Well, let us know what you thought if you go and see it. Let us know what you think if you already have seen it.
Do you like dragons?
I like dragons.
All right, the dragons kind of remind me of dinosaurs, and I don't care one bit about dinosaurs.
And that is a conversation for another day, my friend.
Because Malcolm likes dinosaurs. Yeah.
So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, do it, please.
Hit it up.
If you made it this far in the video, thank you. We love you.
If you made it this far in the video, I will literally send you a letter saying...
It'll be a picture, I guess.
It's been a long day.
And until the next time.